Heartache in one London derby and joy in the other. A late Saka goal disallowed for an offside. I think Martinelli. Very disappointing. Arsenal were all over Fulham. This is why I try to get you to look for that win by encouraging you just to take a small loss on the draw. Tottenham and Chelsea was excellent. That was a 2-2 scoreline. I actually used £20 stakes at 2-0 to Tottenham. Now, those of you watching the match will have seen Sideshow Bob slip up twice. Left back for Chelsea. That's the only reason that was a 2-0 lead. So, circumstances create the angle. Ordinarily, in a London derby, I wouldn't be playing it. AEK Athens, it was going to be an AEK Athens win. It's all about when you got involved. It's as simple as that. We really missed a beauty later on. What a pity, but we'll get to that. New manager, Leicester City, still not readable, but in the two matches they've played, they've scored 5 goals under Ruud van Nistelrooy, which is remarkable. But is that just the bounce, or will things turn around? I missed this opportunity here. Ipswich, in hindsight, really should have been layable, shouldn't they? Bit of a stretch to ask them to score 2 goals, isn't it? So a very readable Premier League, but new manager syndrome for Leicester left me not getting involved in that particular match. French League 1, no real involvement there yesterday. Strasbourg and Reims. Well, yes, I gave you a couple of 0-0s. This lot hadn't had a 0-0 all season. So 109, 106. Members will know what I'm talking about. Nantes and Rennes got the goal eventually, but Nantes nearly shot themselves in the foot. Oh dear, disallowed for handball. No wonder he went a bit spare, old Sam Plough. Sorry, the mouse is a little bit touchy today. So that was a good play. I hope you laid the draw late on. But looking at their seasonal form, Nantes about as trustworthy as an Arthur Daly motor. Marseille, good performance against Saint-Etienne. Thoroughly deserved. It was one-way traffic. You've got to check the in-play stats pre-Champions League for sides like these, or pre-Europa League. In the German Bundesliga, well, I told you Mainz would score 3 goals, but ordinarily they get away with it. Hindsight, should have laid that 3-3 draw. Ideally, should have factored in the possibility of Mainz scoring 3 goals at half-time. Could have expected a few more goals. Hoff and Freiburg could have laid the draw second half. That was the only real angle there. Fiorentina continue their excellent winning record. They'll take that. Venezia and Como. I did mention the possibility of Como coming from behind at 1-0 at half-time, which indeed they did. So if you followed up on that piece of information, well, you've got an own goal to thank. But 2 newly promoted sides will be feeling that they can get the 3 points. Napoli and Lazio. This is a derby-style match. It's pre-European club competition for both teams. I suppose, depending on the Lazio goal, you know what you're going to get with an Antonio Conte side. You're going to get a very good defensive display. I'm just turning the heater off now. It's getting a bit warm. Come on. Good point. So, arguably, you could have got that 0-1 with insurance. Depending on when it was scored. No, not really. You could have, I suppose, looked at another late lay of Lazio, but it is a derby-style match. That's amply advertised here as well. Derby-style match. Not necessarily a gimme for Ajax by any stretch. Heerenveen did deserve the win. If you were following the in-play stats, emphatically, they did deserve that. This is the one which got away. Oh, so gutted. Oh, man. You wait all your life for something like this. 1-3. Q, the mother of all comebacks. Antoine, bonjour. Et Antoine. Oh no, Lino. Ah, bonjour Antoine. 4-3. Antoine Griezmann. Fantastique. you would have absolutely cleaned up. 1-3. They did this in the cup midweek. Wow. That's a trade and a half. I really do hope you got involved. Looking on to today. Day off for me today. I might actually take the day off, but as you know, it's cold outside. I might end up in here, and if I'm in here, I'll be trading, and if I'm trading, I'll be passing on information for you. West Ham and Wolves is a tough one to unpack. Lopetegui's West Ham are spluttering. We've got the advantage. We can have a look at soccerstats.com very early in the video. So let's have a look. If you have the luxury of researching matches via soccerstats.com, by all means do so. So let's take a look. And if you can do this with at least one or two matches, or indeed with a match you're interested in, this will create a far clearer picture from a statistical point of view than my research will do. West Ham spluttering, aren't they? Splutter, splutter, splutter. That beating of Newcastle recently, I thought would be something they could project forward. This was just, I don't know what went on here. They should have been out of sight, West Ham, by a country mile. There was instances of shots being scrambled off the line on more than one occasion in this match. And it was the new manager bounce for our old pal, Ruud van Nistelrooy. Wolves conceding 8 goals in the last 2 matches. Watch out if 2-goal West Ham turn up today. You're going to see a defensive response from Wolves. They cannot continue like this. And to be fair, very, very unlucky couple of own goals there. If you look at it in greater detail, 2 penalties as well. Make that 3 penalties. So I don't think there's panic stations at Wolves. I think the defence is okay, but it's just sloppiness. It's more like Les Dawson than Craig Dawson. 3 penalties, 2 own goals. So I wouldn't be pressing the panic button just yet. That to me, get your small violins out, just looks like a bit of bad luck. Prior to that, putting together a really good fist of it, scoring 2+ goals, which deserted them in that last match. But they did score 2 goals, but not the way you want them to score 2 goals. So for me, no major panic from Wolves. Just need to tidy that sloppiness up. Own goals and giving away penalties. That's 14th against 19th. West Ham will fancy their chances as well. They are a poor side, but they are getting their wins against 12th and lower. Wolves, you don't know which Wolves turns up basically, but it's likely to be an over 2.5 goal match. Both teams to score as well. And you've seen if they can withdraw that sloppiness of the last 2 matches, they're going to be competitive today against a Lopetegui side who just lack any real consistency. As far as goals is concerned, I like to look at the instances, second half in particular. So this match is going late and it's a draw. Wolves have a very good record of scoring and conceding 75th minute onwards. That's a good trading angle in itself. And look at West Ham. They concede 11 of their 15 goals in the first half. So if they can survive the first half, you're going to be expecting a positive West Ham performance. This does suggest the possibility of a goal before half-time as well, doesn't it? But then you'll be relying on Wolverhampton Wanderers to score it. But they have been scoring 2+ goals, so that's okay. We've not had a 0-0 at half-time away from home, Wolves. So again, that reignites the possibility of a goal before half-time. Bit of a messy match. I wouldn't take those 2 defeats to heart. They were not 8-goal defeats. Monza and Udinese, well, let's just take our cues from the market. Given the fact it's a 2.6 the favourite, I bet you the research is going to back that up as well. I.e., it's going to turn out to be an unreadable match. That's what 2.6 the favourite tells you. And Soccer Stats will, I suppose, confirm this straight away. Only the 1 win for Monza all season, but they do like a bit of score-draw-itis, don't they? But they're having trouble scoring that second goal, Monza. at least since the 30th of October. But let's be honest, they've been playing some really big boys. Atalanta, Milan, Lazio. We know all about Torino, very, very defensively led side. Udinese, they'd be dreaming of a draw. They suffered a severe case of draw-itis last season. But yes, they're avoiding draws now, but they're picking up defeats. Looking a bit more in depth, Roma, Inter Milan, AC Milan, Juventus, Atalanta. These are all big, big names. But then you're losing to newly promoted Venezia and at home to Genoa. A lack of confidence from Udinese here. The challenge table will tell us where these two are relative to each other. It's 19th against 10th. And again, compelling evidence that Udinese could pick up a win here. They've scored 2+ goals in about 3 of those matches, but we've got a bit of a gap in form. As far as Monza is concerned, they do all of their best work really away from home. So they might have some home pressure, but 3 of their defeats have been 0-1. All 4 defeats at home have been 1 goal in it defeats. This is going to be a competitive fixture. That's why it's 2.6 the favourite. So that's about it. A shortcut for you, traders. If the market doesn't know or cannot pick a winner, take the hint. Or rely solely on in-play stats. This tells you this is an in-play stats match. It's not a pre-match research match. Getafe and Espanyol. Again, early in the video, we can have a quick look at this one. And what I'm doing today for members is I've done a key stats for you. So I think this will be very helpful for you. This is for the 9th, I believe. Oh, it must be, I think it's for today, sorry. West Ham and Wolves. So you've got all of the key stats here. Hopefully this will take away all of the verbiage from the main research and you get into the meat and bones. So both teams are scoring 57% Premier League home matches. Over 2.5 goals in each of the last 6 away. For Wolves, West Ham have conceded 71 goals in 2024. Vulnerable. At least 1 first-half goal has been scored. So you can see readily we've got angles in. So let's have a look at Getafe and Espanyol. They've won just 1 of the last 5. Espanyol just 1 of the last 5, i.e. reliability issues. Getafe have had fewer than 3 goals in each of the last 8. So there's not an over 2.5 goal match. Espanyol winless in the last 8 away. These two look as bad as each other. I wonder if Soccer Stats will agree with me. So let's have a look. If you have the luxury of doing this, do it. This will really bring the match into some perspective for you. So, case of draw-itis for Getafe, which Udinese would love. Recent defeats, Real Madrid and Girona, both involved in the Champions League, and Barcelona. 3 of the last 4 defeats. Note the defeats. 4 of them have been 1-0 only. They look to be a very tough side to score that second goal against. But Espanyol have scored 3 against Celta Vigo, 2 against Mallorca, 3 against Alaves, 2 against Rayo Vallecano, albeit away from home. As soon as they get on the road, 0-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-1. So, but look who they've been playing again. Real Madrid. We know Atletico Bilbao are in brilliant form. They could even fight for the title today. They've beat Real Madrid recently. Barcelona, Girona involved in the Champions League. So, depending on where Getafe are in the league positions, we could see a bit better performance from Espanyol, but this is a bottom 4 clash. Problematic for Espanyol. Getafe like playing 12th and lower at home. Very tough nut to crack. I would be, if I was relying on Getafe, I'd be relying on their defence. And if Espanyol score, they may not score that second goal. Big gap in form between 12th and 19th. It's a slight negative. But they don't seem to be able to find the goals that they find at home away. So if they score first, they could be vulnerable. And then we'd be relying on Getafe's defence to keep Espanyol from scoring that second consecutive goal. Goal times. Very strong conceding rate at home. away from home, Espanyol, 11 goals conceded. But don't forget, probably looks worse than it is if we bear in mind they've been playing 3 of the top 4 already this season, playing another Champions League side already this season. So I wouldn't be sounding the alarm bells. I don't think that Getafe have that kind of score power that 3 of the top 4 have. Getafe, well, look at that. 5 of their 7 goals have been scored second half. So they're likely to do their best work second half. You could see this match unfold with Getafe trying to keep the clean sheet, try to nick a win in the 61st minute onwards. As ever, in-play stats will be the absolute ideal here. Pre-match research gives you something to think about. Looking through English League One, let's have a look at the key stats for that one. Peterborough, very disappointing in the last match, odds on at home. They didn't win. So just be careful. I normally rely on Peterborough when they're odds on. Failed to keep a clean sheet in the last 10 games and in the last 12 away. 82% of the League One games this season have featured at least one first half goal. That's a very strong stat. Winless in the last 6 League One, Northampton. Unbeaten in the last 3 at home, so they're far better at home. Peterborough haven't won away in the last 5. Peterborough have won 4 of the last 5 meetings in head-to-heads. It's all dependent, these head-to-heads, on whether they're recent or not, of course. Northampton have won only 1 of the last 5 home games against Peterborough. My problem with Peterborough is they were very, very strong odds on. You can probably see if you use something like Bet Explorer. It'll give you an idea of how teams perform at certain odds if they carry this service through to the lower tiers. Peterborough odds on last match 1.38. Oh, they got the win. Oh, this was a head-to-head, sorry, against Northampton. Right, these are all head-to-head. Sorry, my mistake. Let's go down. Have they got any of the recent matches? 1.48 favourite, losing 0-1. So that is troubling. Same odds as today, losing 1-2. That's troubling as well. So Peterborough have an element of inconsistency when odds on, don't they? So that is slightly concerning. You can see Cambridge, Northampton can buck the odds as well. A couple of odds on favourites there, but getting a draw. So they look a bit ropey, Peterborough, when they're odds on. They're just a touch of evens today. Last time they were that, they lost 1-2. So I would be very careful trusting Peterborough today as favourite. In-play stats, please. Professional Development League. Well, if the penny hasn't dropped yet, then give up the ghost, eh? Goodness me, I've been nagging you as if I was a Thai wife. 72% over 2.5 goals in the English Professional Development League. Guess what we've got at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock and 7 o'clock? The English Professional Development League. Now, of course, we're not expecting 100% over 2.5 goals. But to be honest, they're being so emphatic. You could even try over 4.5, over 5.5 goals. Unbelievable, Jeff. Metz and Dunkirk, French Ligue 2. I think I've got the key stats for that one as well. There have been fewer than 3 goals scored in each of Dunkirk's last 4 matches. There have been fewer than 4 cards. Well, that's to do with spread betting. The cards. Dunkirk have won the last 5 matches in a row. Good bit of form. They've kept a clean sheet in the last 4. But of course, it's all dependent on who they've been playing. What do I mean? Well, if they're keeping clean sheets, fair enough. But are they playing the bottom 3? Keeping those clean sheets? Let's have a quick look at the challenge table. This is a shortcut to trading. You can even stop here now. Look, the challenge table is there. Excuse my sniffing. This is a top 5 clash, it seems. Dunkirk, you're looking at their away form. They look a bit vulnerable, don't they? So we're talking about clean sheets. This is what I'm talking about. They're keeping clean sheets, but mostly against the bottom sides. You've got to put that stat into perspective. Mets, they look pretty good at home, don't they? Their key strength at home is keeping their sides from scoring that second goal. So on that challenge table form only, and we can look at it more clearly here, I wouldn't be relying wholly on that Dunkirk clean sheets recently. They've mostly come against 12th and lower. They're playing a top 5 side today who look very adept at home. Dunkirk look wobbly against the top 8. So don't take that clean sheet for granted. You must put it into perspective, okay? Yes, maybe the momentum of keeping clean sheets could see them improve today. So members, I've got other key stats for you. Estrella, Gaziantep, Rizaspor. This is for members only, of course. I'm highly likely to be on Telegram today, even though it is my day off. I'm going to probably go down, practice my putting. Because you saw my wonderful golf the other day. Par, birdie. 9 holes, 4 pars and a birdie. I mean, what on earth am I doing football trading? I could be on the Live Tour, earning 700 million a week. Looking on down, anything else? Greek Super League, much of a muchness. Calathea and Leverdiakos. But again, if you've got soccerstats.com, take that through. Have a look. Israeli Liga Ha'al, all hail to the ale, and a wine for the ladies. Hapoel Beersheva tend to be worth following, albeit when the rod's on, but could be one to follow. As I say, I'm highly likely to be trading today. What is another cold day in Guernsey? Eerste Divisie. Let's have a look at the Eerste Divisie's stats. We're expecting the Dutch to be full of goals. So let's have a look. See how the clog wearers get on. In the Eerste Divisie, it's only 59%. I say only because we're expecting a higher percentage, really. This is more like what I'm expecting, 60+%. But 79% over 1.5 goals. That's 2 matches in every 10 won't be over 1.5 goals. 8 will. That's a good angle for over 2.5 goal trading, is it not? Particularly if it's 0-0 at half time. But do check the individual matches because there are some teams within this lot who tend to have more under 2.5 goals than overs. So just do your research. Make sure you pick out the teams who are more likely to have over 2.5 goals. The quickest way to check that out could be, if you've got the in-play guru, you can go through the filters I've shown you in the past. But quickest way to check over 2.5 goals, we've got a stat for that at soccerstats.com. You can already see with the challenge table, goals galore. You can see strong over 2.5 goals. All this plus here. And also, you get the percentages as well. Down here. So over 2.5 goals, 38% at home is pretty poor for this league. They're not pulling in the same direction, are they? 88% for the away side, 38% for the home. They're not pulling in the same direction. So let's have a look at another match in the Eerste Divisie. You want both sides to have a big proportion or big percentage of over 2.5 goals. We're going to have to be relying on the away side in that other match, aren't we? Here, let's have a look. 2.5, 88% over 2.5 goals at home, 56% away. So that's pretty good. Do a bit of Carol Vorderman maths. I'll make that 144. Divide that by 2. It's around 72% average, which is okay. Don't forget the 1.5 goals is a good indicator of 2.5 goals as well, isn't it? From a trading perspective. When I'm trading 2.5 goals, I'm not looking for 3 goals. I'm looking for correctly timed goals. And this can help you as well. If you get a whole raft of goals in the first half, that can give you an angle. Big conceding rate and a lot of second half action for the young PSV. A lot of second half action here, but that is absolutely standout. Can this lot take advantage? Not really. They've only scored 2 first half goals away. So that's the way I would look in a 2.5 goal league at the better prospects. You'll be over reliant on De Graafschap here. That's the problem. Possibility of an over 2.5 goal trade. If it's 0-0 after 15 minutes, you might want to rely on that young PSV stat. Others today, Polish Ekstraklasa. Arka I like, but they look to be playing one of the top sides in lots. They're normally odds on favourite Arka, but likely be a top clash. Well, there's Arka and there's lots, so I thought it would be a little tighter given the odds. Arka are well worth following. They nearly went up last season. Estrella and Aruca, I prefer, to be honest, Braga, Benfica, Porto, Sporting Lisbon, Guimarães, rather than mid-table mediocrity. So have a great day. I'm not obliged to work with you today. I do need to have a day off, but it's a cold day. If I've got nothing planned, not seeing any friends or anything later on, then I'll certainly be trading because I'll be making money. It's great to be on English time because I can really get stuck in. And without being bleary-eyed and moaning all the time about the time difference, I can enjoy my football at last. But I don't tend to enjoy it when I miss out on an Atletico Madrid comeback from 1-3 down. Oh boy. Have a great day. I hope to see members of footballtradingprofits.com on Telegram a bit later. In a good bit of form, picking out some nice winners so far. Luckily avoiding the pitfalls. Hopefully this can continue. Have a great day.